All right, we're into standard reports part 2. And we've kind of found out so far that it's been pretty easy, right? I mean, we went over to the DFP, we generated a monthly report that we're going to be using and how to get it so that it automatically comes to your email on the first of the month. So we're going to always be looking at the last 30 days. It's always fun when you're regurgitating the past to make sure that it's the full past. And we put those into a Google Sheet, and we learned how to embed those sheets. All right, so we did the embed the receipts. We found that there were 7 steps to embedding the receipts. First is we had to add the summary page. We had to create a new section. We called it AZ Central in our example. We edited the page. We put the embed code in. We switched it to the from the editor to HTML. So we went from the WYSIWYG to the HTML editor, and we pasted the embed code in. We set the width 100%. We set the height parameters, and then we saved. And that's it. There's 7 steps to embedding. Well, let's take a look at Photoshop and see what we can do there. I'm going to escape out of those. And in the case of Photoshop, for instance, if we had a Clickfull report from God, somebody that runs PPC, I selected shelves that slide here because they run quite a bit of PPC. And if you go over to Clickfull, again, if you don't have access, I'm sure Tammy's already got it on the radar, and your access is coming, and you'll be able to get to these particular reports. And what we want is, again, we want to look at the month. So we set the date range here. I've set from July 1st to the end of July. And this shows me on the PPC. I'm in the SEM keywords. I think we're about the only company that still calls it PPC. It's SEM. and you get this nice graph. It's all really pretty and stuff, and it gives you just about everything that you need. So what we're going to do here is we're going to press the print screen button on your keyboard. So you'll take a screen impression of just exactly what you're looking at right here, and then we'll go over to Photoshop. And in Photoshop, you're taking notes, right? You're taking good notes. We're going to go into File, and we're going to select New. And I create a default for myself. I have a double screen, so I set my parameters to 2,560 pixels by 1024 pixels. That gives you a really perfect image for a dual screen. And then I like to set my resolution to a number that's pretty weird and odd. You can choose one for yourself: 327, 418, 255. Something that's going to make that image resolution very unique just to you. And just for security's sake. Yeah, just for whatever. Anything above 300 is really good resolution. So pick a number above 300 and call it your own. And just select OK. So that gives you a new window. And so you just paste, you just hit the Ctrl-P, right? Or V rather. It should be P, huh? And that just puts that screenshot that we just had over there. So there's our Clickfull screenshot. We want to crop it, so we click on the cropping tool, we drag in, we just want to cut this thing down to where we just want that graph. That's all we really want. We want the graph, and we don't even need the date really, but let's see. It looks better if we keep the date on it. Maybe. You know what? I think I will go ahead and I'm going to take that date out of there, and I'll show you why in a minute. Just crop it down. We don't want that table data. We just want this graph here. Right? So it's kind of getting hard to see. It's getting small on there. So you can go up to View and just select 100%. And there you see there's the full size image. That's what it's going to look like when you embed it into the system. Now I'm going to scroll over to this left, and I'm going to scroll right. I'm going to take a look, and I don't really like the way that it's cropped here. So I'm going to reselect crop, and I'm going to move this up so that we see just that data right there. And then I noticed over here on the right hand side, there's a bit of a line and some more white. I'm just going to get rid of that information. I'm going to go right up over to close to that box. From the top, yeah, that's not too bad. I'll probably leave that where it is. And then on the left, the same thing. I got the line here in it, so I'm just going to crop it in a little bit tighter just to get rid of those lines. All right, so these pull-down windows are, of course, since we're making an image here, these pull-down windows are no good. They're going away. So select the eraser tool, and let's just erase it. Let's just get it out of here. Just say goodbye. Ah, the digital world makes everything so much easier. You just make everything the way that you want it to be. Just make it look the way you want it to look. All right, so now that's gone. All right, and this question mark, we don't need that. Let's get rid of that. And the summary box looks okay. Yeah, pretty good looking chart. Actually, it looks like we could crop in here a little bit more, right? There's too much room on the left hand side, so let's go back to the crop tool and we'll pull this in, get it a little bit more balanced. Yeah, there we go. All right. We ended up, yeah, we did get rid of the date range. Good. All right. So now what happens when you're working on the internet and a lot of people have these grayed out features, then it's kind of hard to see the detail when you embed. So here's the way that we fix that. We'll go into the menus here for image, and we're going to make an adjustment to the levels. So just click levels, and we grab this very first bar here, and we drag this off to and watch the image. Watch the color of the image as I see how it's getting darker. I mean, you can make this thing really dark if you wanted to. You can make it too dark. So I usually go almost halfway, not quite all the way halfway. I go about 99 to 100, somewhere in that range in there, and that makes everything nicely highlighted. This is why we use Photoshop. I mean, you can make some wonderful images, and this is pretty simple stuff right here. I mean, this is nothing. We haven't even touched the depth of what you could accomplish here with Photoshop, but that makes a pretty crisp, clear looking, nice image, right? So now we can go into File, and we can save, and hopefully you've got a folder that you've already called Insights and Analytics. And hopefully you've got, I call my folder the web, because that's anything I'm putting online, and I got my clients, and I've got the year 2015. Just trying to stay organized. And then this was a photo of shelves that slide, so I go into my shelves that slide and change this to a JPEG. Taking notes, changing it to a JPEG image. And we're looking at the Clickfull SEM for July. All right. I'm a C programmer and a Python programmer, and C and Python do not like spaces. You have hyphens. And don't ever use an underscore, because an underscore tells Java that this is coding rather than a title. So you always use hyphens. So anyway, we got Clickfull SEM for July JPEG, and we save, and we say OK, and there it is. We got it all saved up. So now we can go back over. This is, remember we were embedding those pivot tables. We can close that up. I'm going to click on the green box right here. That's going to take me back to the index. I'm going to get out of Sheets, and I'm going to go to Docs. Let's create a new doc. And I'm going to insert an image. And you're clever enough to know which image I'm going to insert here too. So we go to Documents, My Documents, go into Insights and Analytics. Right, we're going to Web. That's where I keep mine. You'll keep yours. It'll make sense to you. And I go to Clients, in the year 2015. This is for shelves that slide. Stay organized. You're going to love staying organized. And we got that SEM image, right? And it's uploading. Here it comes. Oh, nice. Look at that. That's a beautiful... Hey, there it is. That's a great looking image, right? On. All right, nice. And yeah, that's bright, vibrant, easy to see. Even for old eyes like mine, that's an easy one to see. So we're going to do the same thing that we did with our pivot tables. We're going to go into File. We're going to Publish. We're going to embed this. Click Publish. Accept the default. And there's our iframe. All right. Now we go back to our reports. We're going to add. We'd add a summary page. We're going to have to add a new section. We could call it PPC report. Go to the source, paste in your embed code, and guess what we got to do? We've got. Well, you know what? Let's don't put the height and the width in, and I'll show you what happens if we just submit it. All right. You see what happens is it gives you just the default in here, and then you have to scroll this little tiny window to find the image. It's very unfriendly. And there's no way to make it a default because everybody's got a different resolution. And so what we're going to have to, like I said, you can't change it. We have to delete the widget. And then we'll go add the summary. We're going to put it into the PPC report. Go to the source. And as you get experience, you're going to understand what the width values are in pixels and get an approximation. But usually the width of a standard sheet is about 850, despite anybody's resolution. So a good image width is like probably 650. So we'll go with width, quote, we'll type 650. Well, you know, and another way that you can do this also is if you go back into Photoshop, and you go back to image, and you can go to image size. Am I going too fast? I blew you out of the water here, huh? Okay, so we're in Photoshop. You're taking notes, and you go to image, and we go to image size, and we can change this to pixels. So if we wanted to make this picture 650 wide, it'll automatically show you then that the height should be 305. So now we can go back over here and we can say height equals, quote, 305. And now you've got a nicely proportioned, easy to look at, good size image. Save yourself a little time and frustration, copy it, submit it. And now you'll see the difference when you put the height and the width in. It puts it into the report. Oh, you see what we did? We didn't go into the editor. We were in the WYSIWYG. Nothing you do is going to actually blow anything up. That's the good news. So let's delete that. Let's go to the source and paste it in. That's why you should always cut and paste. Save yourself a little aggravation. And like I said, any changes that you make in this box just don't get taken. So you have to, best thing to do right now is just delete the widget. I'm working on it. I'll fix it eventually, but for right now, just delete the widget. Add a new text summary. Put it in the PPC report. Maybe having all of these complicated workarounds. It's going to teach us how to be more exact each time we go through it. It teaches us the discipline of perfection. All right, so there's the image. Now we're looking good. So that's how you would embed screenshots from our ad networks in some of our resources that we have. You learned today. Let's go back over to our standard report. We did Photoshop. We created a new layer. We pasted in the screenshot. We cropped it to size. We adjusted the image resolution so that we could see it. And we saved the image, then we placed it on a Google Sheet, and then we embedded that into the report. And that's the 7 steps of using Photoshop for building your standard reports. So now the only thing that's left to do now is we've got to schedule the report. And we have several delivery options. I'm going to escape out of here once again and go back in. And if we go into the tool options right up here in the upper right hand corner, we go to tool options and click, then we can see the report settings. So let's go into report settings. And here's where we set our email. If we want to email that, if we want to run this on a regular report. So what we want to do is then the standard report title. The perfect way to do this is to put in a square bracket and put in the URL and close the square brackets, and then just put standard report for the name of the company. Okay, leave everything else as a default. Right? Leave everything else just the way it is. Just change the report title. And going to the second tab is scheduling. In scheduling, this is a standard report, so we're going to do these monthly. Select monthly. You'll probably, since you're getting your DFP reports on the 1st, you're going to want to give yourself a few days to build all of these. So somewhere between maybe the 3rd, maybe the 4th. Yeah. Would it really hurt to have it on the 5th? Probably not. So maybe select the 5th. And you want to, if you're going to compare anything, we're always going to compare to the last month. All right, so we're going to set the frequency to monthly, the day of the month sometime after the 3rd, probably closer to the 5th. I don't want to go out too much later than that, or Tammy might want to have a conversation with you in your monthly end of the weeks and such. And then we're going to make the date range the months. Now we go to email settings. Here in the email settings, we've got several things to do. Number 1, this is where you put the email in here. So this is going to go to the sales rep. We always want to include the following people. You're going to always include J. Cook at Republic Media. These are comma separated. Configure the email has to be yes. Here we go. Yeah, we're going to configure the email, so select yes. Now, J. Cook at republicmedia.com, comma, T. Abrams at republicmedia.com. And then whoever your assigned sales rep is, and if you have a client solutions specialist or client solutions manager, you'll want to include them in there. So pretty much anybody that needs to get this monthly report, always the sales rep, and always Jeff Cook, and always T. Abrams. And then the from should be your email. So for me, it's M. Bertrand at Republic Media. So put your email in there, and then the subject. Now here's where that tear sheet kind of comes into practice for the very first time. You want to put something here that's going to make that rep want to open this email, right? So what is that subject going to be? Well, I would suggest, you put something like, sizzling hot end of month reports. Put something in there that, hey, check me out. And then the message line here needs to be something cool too, like assimilation revenue enhancing reports for you. All right, we're going to go to the email settings. We're going to turn the configuration on. We're going to add Jeff Cook and Tammy Abrams, and then sales reps, client solutions managers, or anybody else that needs to get this report. You're going to add in comma separated values. You're going to put who it's from, that's you. Put in a subject line that's going to, hey, here's the end of the month report, yay. Regurgitation weekly or regurgitation monthly, whatever you want to call it. Put in some kind of a message here. Embed our image for Insights and Analytics monthly reports and submit. And that report is now updated. And there's your standard report. That's the whole thing. The Google Analytics. If we don't have Google Analytics, then we're going to, of course, just put the summary sheet in here, and our Google Analytics summary is going to say, hey, we need to get Tag Manager for this account so that we can give you better insights, we can give you revenue, we can give you values on there. And then if you have an AZ Central DFP or embedding the DFPs, if you have any other third-party vendors, we're going to embed those screenshots of those standard reports, and then we click Publish. It's all said and done, we're going to click Publish. Okay, while that's publishing, let's go see how we're doing on this. So set the opening line to, yep, we did that, clientsite.com. We put standard report from Insights and Analytics. And you want to see what that monthly report image looks like? We'll show it to you real quick. This is what we're going to embed. Wait, I shall predict the future from these shards of glass. That's our standard monthly report image that goes out in these emails. Okay, so now let's take a look at the published standard report that we just created. And this is what it looks like to the sales rep. This is what Jeff Cook and Tammy Abrams are going to get. If we're going to share it with the client, this is what the client's going to see. This is how they look when they're online. And this is, they've got the menu over here on the left, so they can see the Google Analytics. They can see our summary. They can see our AZ Central information. They can see the PPC report information. Probably need to make this a little wider so that we don't have to scroll this around, but we can still edit that. If they want to export it to a PDF, they can click the Export to PDF button icon. Here's what it looks like in a PDF format. One of the things different is that these aren't interactive, but the reports still look pretty nice. I can't imagine ever wanting to have a PDF digital report, especially when it's available to you digitally. I just, look at it online. That's what it's for. That's what digital is all about. Work it online, so stick with the theme. So it's a pretty good looking report. Like I say, these are interactive reports, so you can sort and move things around if you want. There's question mark bars here, so if you mouse over the question marks, it'll tell you what this section's all about. And these are interactive as well, so if you want to, like, what's this grayed out area here? Oh, it says Bing moves to encrypted, and this one says, oh, Panda 4.2 number 28 rolled out on the 17th. It also gives you the information about the clicks and the impressions and all in gold. So that's how it looks to the client side. And that's building a standard report with the Insights and Analytics toolbox. If you go back into the report builder, then you'll see that your report is there. Diamond Kitchen and Bath standard report.